Is this the year that you're going to finally write that book and get it published? But maybe you're not sure, what goals should I be setting? Like, how do I know if they're the right goals? And what if something happens? I get asked about goal setting and career planning all the time. And I had all of these questions myself when I first started out. So I'm going to answer these questions because I don't want you to let another year go by where you don't finish your book or you don't pursue your dream of being an author. A year is going to go by no matter what you do. It's going to happen every single day, 365 days in a row. And either you're going to get to the end of that year and be closer to your dream or further away. Which would you rather? So I talk a lot in the videos about setting 5-year goals and 1-year goals and quarterly goals. But what if you don't have a career at all? Or maybe you haven't even started writing a book. Like, what is a realistic goal to set? I am a huge, huge believer in positive thinking and manifestation and really kind of picturing what you want so that you can go after it. I don't know a lot about sports, but I know you absolutely have to have a game plan before you execute that first play on the field. So come up with a 5-year plan, and it can be as audacious and big as you want. I absolutely guarantee that when Nora Roberts and Stephen King and Colleen Hoover and all of those big authors first started, they never imagined they would get to where they did. I know when I first started, I had big goals. Never in a million years thought I would sell 8 million copies and have 87 books published. I couldn't think that big. So I spent 8 years sweating over these crappy books trying to sell them because I was learning. Those 5-year plans did not come to fruition within those 5 years. But once I sold that first book, everything I dreamed of came true within 5 years. Because I always kept my eye on, this is my career plan, this is where I want to go. And I did whatever it took to get there. Sort of like your character having a goal, and they have to take a lot of steps to accomplish that goal. I had a goal of wanting to be with this publisher and to hit the New York Times list. And I backtracked all of the steps that I would have to take to get there. And as I kept getting rejected, and it seemed like my goal was getting further and further and further away, I had to fluctuate and adapt a little bit because I had a lot more to learn. But you work full time, or you have kids, or worse, you have kids and work full time and have a whole lot of things going on and not a lot of time to write. That was my world when I first started out. I worked full time. I had 2 kids under the age of 5. So I was really, really busy, and it was tough to find that time to write. So I knew my extra hours were before everybody woke up and after everybody went to sleep. And so I spent many, many, many years getting up at 4:30 in the morning and writing before the kids woke up. It was not easy, but I bought a coffee pot on a timer so I could really smell that fresh coffee when my alarm went off. And that little tiny thing helped get me out of bed. Then I would print out the pages that I worked on that morning and take them with me throughout the day. Every single one of us has 5 or 10 minutes here and there throughout the day. Now, you could choose to use that on TikTok or YouTube, or you could sit there and look at your pages and make little edits on them. I still do that. I take the pages with me and edit them when I have little snippets of time. And then at the end of the day, after everybody went to bed, I would go back to my office and I would input those changes. And often I would get another page or 2 out of myself. Doing that, I wrote about 5 pages a day. Were they good pages? Not always. Because remember, those 10 books in 8 years were all rejected. So let's talk about rejection and 1-star reviews. So what if you send out your book and you keep getting rejected by agents and editors? Or you put a bunch up on Amazon and you get a ton of 1-star reviews, or worse, you don't even make any sales, so nobody's reviewing it. Frankly, first off, you need to take that as a sign that you maybe need to learn more before you release that book. I see a lot of authors who get very excited about releasing the book and put it out into the world too soon. There is way more that goes into writing a book than most of us think. It takes a lot more effort and a lot more understanding of how books work and come together and how to interweave all of these elements of emotion and plot to really create a compelling story. Now, when I wrote those 10 books in 8 years, I thought every single one was amazing, and none of them were. Well, 9 of them were not. The 8th one was the one that eventually sold. So one of them was decent. The rest, if I had released them back then as self-published books, I guarantee I would have had no sales or probably 1-star reviews. I didn't realize what I was doing wrong until I did 2 different things. I got a critique partner who would work with me every week, so that kind of kept me accountable and also gave me real-time feedback. And 2, I did the highlighter method of learning to plot. That's a free download on my site. I took a bunch of books and I highlighted all of the different plot elements. And then I went back and highlighted my own book, and I could immediately see what I was missing. It was like a light bulb moment for me. Immediately, I had this color-coded GPS in front of me of how a book goes together. And when I looked at my own book, I could see that I was missing a lot of colors, mainly in the conflict department. I knew that I had to go back and start adding in more conflict, both emotional and external. And as I learned how to do that, that's when my books got better and eventually sold. Then there's our old demon, imposter syndrome. Who am I to think that I can do this, that I can become a New York Times bestselling author, or that I can sell a book and people are going to read it? Here's the truth. That's going to happen with every single book you write. Imposter syndrome never goes away. You just learn to ignore it and write anyway. And you can either choose to let it stop you from pursuing your dream or just ignore it and write anyway. Now, what if it doesn't happen? Remember, I had those 8 years where it didn't happen. And at home, I didn't have a whole lot of support. So I didn't have somebody saying, go for it anyway. If you're pursuing something that isn't making money, but is taking up a lot of time, it can be really hard to find support among your loved ones. I'm not going to lie and say that I didn't have moments when I wanted to quit, or the time when I actually quit, which is in this video here, because it is hard to battle other people who say you can't do this, or you shouldn't do this, or that this is a waste of your time. And it can make you feel like you're the only one in the world that believes that this should happen for you. And you are also the only one who can make this happen for you. No one else can just immediately drop a career as an author in your lap. You have to do it. And that's a big part of why I started this channel, to encourage, to teach, to say to you, you can do it. You're gonna have people in your life that are like, you're not good at this. Why are you wasting your time? You have to ignore them, just like your imposter syndrome. You gotta just say, you know what? This is my dream, and I really want to pursue it, and it is important to me. Then you keep going after it. The final question that I get a lot is, what if I'm stuck and I don't know what to write? I personally do not believe in writer's block. I think that there are days when the writing is hard and days when the writing is easy. That happens with every single job in the universe. There's a bunch of things that you can do. You can download my complete character plan or complete plot plan because it has some writing exercises in it, or participate in one of our Friday live streams because I use a writing prompt there every time. It's just kind of to get those muscles going. When you first start trying to get in shape, you probably can't lift 150 pounds. You build up. You start with the little 1 pound weights. That's me. And then you build up to the 3 pounds. Build up to it by doing other things that strengthen those muscles and give you the encouragement and the confidence to go forward. So what should your goal be for this year? Whatever you want it to be. It's your career. It's your book. It's your dream. Make it as big as you want to. And then write down the steps it'll take to get there and start taking the first one. By the way, don't forget to subscribe and like this video. And if you want some writing exercises to get you started, watch this video right here. And then let me know in the comments how it goes, or tell me, what is your goal for this year?